Fairmount's an important little town as far as the Hollywood industry goes. I mean, James Dean was raised here, and he's one of the biggest Hollywood icons and movie stars. And it's important to keep the town original. People come from all over the world, and they want to see the town the way it looked when James Dean lived here. During the James Dean Festival, there's a lot of events that take place. There's a huge custom car show that draws about 2,000 custom cars and hot rods. There's a big parade, there's carnival rides, vendors, all kinds of live entertainment, 1950s dance contest, and one of the highlights is the James Dean Lookalike contest, and that's always a big draw. Every year on September 30th, there's a memorial service at the Back Creek Friends Church where James Dean attended as a child. And that's always on September 30th, the day of his death, no matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't have to be a weekend. But there's always at least 100 people that show up, and it's a real sincere and solemn tribute to James Dean with guest speakers and entertainment. It's a real touching event. The memorial service lasts about an hour at the church, and then there's a walking procession to the cemetery, which is led by Nicky Bazooka, who shows up every year on September 30th, and he leads the procession to the cemetery on his motorcycle.
Only hold till your coffee warms, but don't hurry your speed. Once a time, put a time in your ear on the beach, and your clutch clean heat.
When everybody gets there, he'll say a few words and take off on his motorcycle, and then we don't see him again for another whole year. But it's a whole moving experience between the actual memorial in the church, the service, and then the walking procession to the cemetery. It's pretty somber and sincere.
So who is Nicky Bazooka? Can I ask you that?
I don't know. I mean, I know, but I can't say.
Oh, okay.
James Dean graduated from Fairmount High School in 1949, and the school closed in 1986, and it's just been deteriorating. For 20 years we tried to raise money to restore it or renovate it or turn it into public housing or a community center or library, or there were all kinds of ideas and things to do, but we weren't able to raise the money for the project. And this past summer the roof collapsed in July. Part of it came down, and then in August another whole section collapsed. So it's in pretty bad shape now, and it's pretty doubtful that it'll ever get restored or renovated now. People come from all over the world to visit Fairmount, the hometown of James Dean, and they'll visit the James Dean Gallery and the Fairmount Historical Museum and go around to the sites. You can see where he's buried here in Park Cemetery, and drive by the farm where he grew up, where his cousin still lives. We get these visitors from all over the world, and they'll say they're traveling, and I'll say, where are you going? They're saying, well, New York and Philadelphia and Miami. We're going to Los Angeles and Chicago and Fairmount. And it's kind of interesting that this little small town fits into their travel plans. And it's great because they're seeing an American small town, a real American small town, like a little Norman Rockwell looking town actually. And it's neat because the cities are so internationalized. They're all about the same, generally, but this little town is pretty unique. James Dean's not going to go away. I mean, he's an internationally recognized figure. I mean, There's Elvis, Marilyn, and James Dean, the three American 50s icons that are recognized around the world. And there's always young kids coming in doing school reports, and college kids and young girls, and his interest and the interest in him just doesn't go away. You know, they keep showing his movies on Turner Classics and different TV channels, and people are seeing him for the first time. There's always new fans coming along, so there will always be James Dean fans, and hopefully, you know, Fairmount will always be here too. You know, but it's just nice to be able to keep the town original and but upkeep it. You know, make some changes and bring some new life into it. But it's interesting. You know, people want to see it, so it's great to just keep the town going. I know it's improved a lot in the last 20 years or more, and the townspeople are very proud of the town and Fairmount and James Dean. They keep their properties and their storefronts up nice and up kept, and it's just kind of a neat little town, really. Fairmount's a pretty quiet little town, and you know, it's they call it a bedroom community because most of the people that live here work elsewhere. You know, they travel to their work. There's some job opportunities here in town and some small factories and businesses, but generally people work other places and come back here to live. And it's a nice, quiet little town. It's a great place to raise a family, and the school system is good. But I've lived in New York City and Los Angeles and some other places, and this town is just really special. You know, it just feels really, really like home. You know, I've been here about 30 years now, and it's home to me.